When life seems overwhelming with its to-do lists and responsibilities, I find the best antidote is spending time outdoors in nature. Even though we don't all live in rural areas, it doesn't mean we can't create something special right in our own backyard. The yard that you're looking at right here is obviously spectacular. Believe it or not, it is in the middle of a densely populated suburban area. In fact, it's mere steps away from Northern Boulevard, an extremely busy route running through Long Island, New York.
What's happening, everybody? I'm really excited about today's show because I get to hang out with two of my favorite people from my childhood. Talking about Luke and Gabrielle Kreye, they're family friends. But what's really exciting is what these two are able to build using nature and a little bit of elbow grease. So I'm pretty excited because you're going to see an amazing backyard. We're going to give you some really cool tips about how you can create and work with nature, create your own paradise in a suburban setting, man. This is really amazing. Come on back.
A good portion of my life has been all about action, which still holds true. But now I pour all that time and energy into wildlife conservation, education, and the pursuit of knowledge. This is Kamp Kenan.
Alright, so I'm really excited, Luke, Gabrielle. I mean, I've been here once before, but you guys have done so much more work. Now, guys, they've been friends of the family for, I don't know, almost more than 40 years,
yeah.
I think. You know, you guys have been
30
friends.
for sure.
Definitely. But what's really cool is Luke, Luke and I have a lot in common that I didn't really realize until I got old enough to hang out with him. And that being nature. You're a nature freak, and Emil Kreye Son is your business. You've been working with your dad. Talk to us a little bit about what we're going to see here tonight. I want the grand tour, bro.
Well, back in the 50s, when my dad and grandpa started the business, you couldn't get rock. So what they did is they went up into the mountains and they bought the land. And since then, we've been moving entire rock ledges into landscapes on Long Island, Connecticut, upstate New York, and now we're doing Tennessee and Florida as well.
Wow.
And we moved the entire rock ledge into the landscape and build it into the topography and change the entire flow of what was here. In this particular landscape, there was nothing but a wooded area and a slope when we started.
No way. And so that's kind of the thing that gets me excited, man, about what you guys do. So many times you try and, like, people get into this zone of working against the landscape, but you guys have a different approach. Like, say you've been in my backyard.
Right.
And he got me really excited about the possibilities in my backyard, about being able to filter out my big pond and create a stream and so forth. But you're gonna, when you go into a customer's home or you go into a project, you guys are architects. I mean, this is like a serious endeavor. You don't just start digging holes. You look at the natural landscape and see how you can work with it.
Well, what we first want to do is we want to decide what on-site assets you really want to showcase.
Okay.
One of the reasons why we chose this piece of property is because it had a 10-foot grade change. If you have a flat landscape, then you have to create a grade change. So you want to decide what trees you want to save, what things you want to showcase, how you want the landscape to connect to the existing landscape, and then also how you want to use it. What we like is to connect into the landscape, so we create stepping stones, landings, destinations that get you into the garden.
Now, just like a simple thing like the bamboo here, that's bamboo you've grown,
Yes.
right?
That's bamboo we grow on site, and there's also a farm next door that has a bamboo grove.
Look at this, guys. How sick is this? So, this gets me pumped because I know a lot of you out there watching you're going to be blown away when we really get into the intricacies of what you've done. I love how, the pond comes right up to the foundation of your home. So, I mean, it's basically, you're looking right out into nature. Nature has surrounded you, and you said earlier you wake up in paradise.
I do.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah. Pretty cool, this guy, huh?
Yes. And the things he sees and imagines beforehand, and he talks to me about, I have, like, what, really?
Yeah.
And then it happens.
Yeah, well, that's another cool thing, man. You're essentially, you're a bit of an architect, but you're also more of an artist, and nature is kind of your palette. You know,
except
instead of a paintbrush, he's got an excavator. And so, but now talk to me a little bit about, you know, your mindset going into this area here. I mean, you know, just a waterfall like that, everything looks like nature. It was here.
Well, we brought in some massive rock ledges to hold this grade, and it's got reinforcement behind it. We're holding about a 10-foot elevation change with the rock. The entire garden's built on top of rubber, so we're able to control the water, and we're able to bring the water right up to the foundation of the house and create the illusion like the house was built on the edge of this pond.
So that's crazy, you know. So this is a lined pond.
Yep, all rubber.
Completely hidden. You see what I mean? Like, so he's taking some man-made materials, but he's completely hidden them. You know, I mean, you got marginal plants here, and everything performs a function. Is that right?
Yeah, all the plants remove the nutrients out of the water. And in a high oxygen environment, you have decomposition very aggressively. So you need those plants to remove that so you don't get anaerobic buildup on the bottom and sediment.
Okay.
And then you have to circulate the water so that you have the oxygen and you have sediment removal. So you have clean water and a healthy ecosystem.
Let me ask you this. I mean, this water is pretty clear right now.
Plants help out with that.
The plants help out. Now, do you guys actually do any kind of UV sterilizers or anything like that? Nothing. No UV. So
natural.
That's sick. So I mean, as far as, you know, guys, you know, if you have like turtles have a lot of bio waste, and you know, I've used UV sterilizers in a large pond that I had when I lived in Las Vegas, but to be able to use no power in that way is so incredible. And that this is just, you know, you got your aeration, right? The waterfall provides aeration.
Right. Yep.
Surface agitation, and then the plants are giving back.
And the fish also provide agitation to the bottom.
Really?
If you had small fish, they wouldn't disturb the bottom sediment, and the sediment could potentially build up. So you'd have to have underwater circulation. But with fish this large, wherever I feed them, they agitate the bottom. The sediment gets lifted up, goes into the circulators, and it gets removed in the sediment system.
Well, you know what? You have something interesting just up here, and it's a nice walk to the stream. So I want to see the stream and talk about that as well. This is amazing, man. I love this place. We just need to get Luke some turtles. He says he's had turtles, but they always walk out of the pond and go into the wetlands. So, you know, but that's another thing that you were talking about really quick. You know, in Long Island, you guys have raccoons. But one thing that I took away from hanging out with him the last time is he designs the pond to where raccoons, he understands the habits of a raccoon. And you said that steep ledges, raccoons don't like to really get in the water. They need a beach entry.
Right, they're not efficient swimmers.
Okay.
So they need a place to corner their prey, or they need a way to ambush.
Okay.
So our ponds are designed with edges and overhangs, like that landing stone that we were standing on goes 6 feet
Gotcha.
under the pond. So the fish have plenty of room to get away from predators. We do get osprey that come through, and you get the blue herons. And we put a couple fishing lines over the top, so if the osprey comes in, he'll hit the 5-pound test, he gets annoyed, he flies away.
Gotcha.
He gets a fish every once in a while.
Yeah,
it's nature.
But you know, that's the other thing. Look at this, guys. I mean, you've actually, you know, I think in some ways, when you create a backyard habitat like this, you actually don't mind losing a fish every once in a while because you've created an ecosystem.
You're bringing nature in.
So it's so cool. They got a little fire pit, they hang out, but you can see
just had a little frog pop in.
Oh, did you have a little frog hanging out? But all right, so this is really interesting, guys, and this is giving me a lot of ideas for Kamp Kenan.
This is what you need at your place.
Yeah, okay. I know somebody. Maybe I can get this guy down and we'll do a build. We'll do a whole build video. It'll be really great. But okay, so explain to me what's happening here with this whole system. You said a stream is actually the best kind of filtration you can have, right?
Well, what you want to do is get a lot of oxygen into the water. So as it's running and moving and cascading, you're getting the high oxygen. That allows the microbes, which break down waste and do the purification, to colonize the area. If you shut off the oxygen, the whole ecosystem falls apart. So that's very important for the balance of the ecosystem. But also, you do have fish waste, you have leaf debris, and other types of sediment that fall into the pond and need to be removed when you have larger fish populations. So in this particular area, we dug a very large hole. We put in a 50 by 50 rubber liner. We went down 7 feet, put in containers that are reinforced plastic, and those containers allow the water to percolate up from the bottom through 2 feet of gravel and then enter the stream. And when the water diffuses like that, it enables the water to let the sediment drop to the bottom and the clear water come to the top. And the volume of this is so large that it doesn't need to be addressed except every 5 years.
Get out of here.
You pump it out every 5 years.
So that's sick, because I think a lot of people are under the impression that having something this large is a lot of maintenance, like a lot of work, and it scares them away. Yeah. So you know, you didn't grow up doing this, right?
No.
Okay, so you can come out here and maintain this stuff, and you don't really feel like it's a big deal.
It's a pleasure to be out here and playing, because you don't have to maintain it.
Yeah.
It maintains itself.
Gotcha. And so, like, say every 5 years, what would you have to do? Like, what is the maintenance to remove the sediment buildup? And this is essentially a large biofilter. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, it's not really filter. We're not trying to filter anything. What we're doing is just letting the physical suspended waste drop to the bottom.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Now, normally that would be on the bottom of your pond.
Okay.
And a lot of ponds people empty. You see, people make a living. They go and empty their pond, they clean it out, they take the fish, put them in a bucket, or they have filtration systems that need constant weekly care and emptying.
Gotcha.
What we did is we make a very large separation area that doesn't need to be done regularly.
Gotcha.
So if you put in a small one, it would need to be taken care of more often.
Fair enough.
But it's 50 by 50.
Gotcha.
So it's not something that you have to deal with daily.
So what would you have to do, man?
So we have a cover over a vault, which is that square stone over there, and you take the cover off, and underneath that is a cap. You remove the cap and just drop in a submersible sump pump.
Okay.
And we attach it to a fire hose, and we fertilize the bamboo.
With the sediment.
With the sediment.
Yeah.
So we're recycling. You're taking the fish waste, you're recycling it and using it for other things. So we're going to use the fish waste for the new back area to actually fertilize the growing vegetables that we're going to grow.
That's amazing.
Right now, we're physically removing it and using that waste for fertilizer.
Gotcha. And then, you know, as the stream kind of meanders its way down, this goes to the waterfall, right?
It runs all the way down under the bridges. You have all your mature oak trees.
Wow.
You have your mature laurels, which are hundreds of years old, all still intact with the stream flowing through it. So it looks real.
Looks like it's been here.
It looks like it's been here because everything else was here, and the stream was constructed as if it were natural.
And what's funny, guys, is this is just his backyard. Now, you got to remember, this is a business, and you've gone, I mean, you've been to the Dominican Republic, you've built things, you've built things in Florida, you go all over the country, Tennessee, to build, you know, people want some of his artistry in their backyard, and my goodness, man, you have done some pretty big projects.
Well, if the client is looking for something with that sense of realism,
right,
to do that, you need to build a certain scale. If we tried to build something like this with little rocks that you would put off a dump truck, it would look like a pile of little rocks that you put off a dump truck.
Gotcha.
So it's, you know, it's relative to what you're building.
Where do we flow to next, man? I want to see some more of this amazing backyard.
We can walk down towards the house now, and you can see some of the other pond assets.
Let's check it out. He's so official. Assets. So professional.
So, one of the most important things that we try to do when we're developing a landscape is really making a connection to the house and how people are going to use it. In my house, I'm always out in my garden. So instead of having a staircase that goes down to the pond, we built this large bridge that connects the landscape right to the entrance of the house.
Wow.
Every morning we come out and the fish join us.
So really, man. And I like how you even used, I mean, are these telephone poles?
These are locust timbers, and they should last about 100 to 150 years in the landscape.
Okay.
So when we built this, we have I-beams underneath it and rebar going across. But the locust timbers are the ornamental aspect, and also if you're walking, the timber comes up above the profile, and the plants that we notched into it, so you're not going to just absent-mindedly wander off.
I see. So it's a visual barrier. You are kind of like the Long Island Mr. Miyagi with this place, dude. You know, instead of Japanese accent, he talks like me. But that's hysterical. Like, you know, this is truly amazing. Another really interesting, just little details. You know, the marginal plants, but then you know your cellar and completely watertight.
Right. The rubber is what holds the pond.
It's just amazing. You know, I love being immersed by nature. That's, you know, on a smaller scale, you know, some people would say it's a large scale in my backyard, but I really love water gardening.
Connecting in.
Yeah, and you know, it's just this amazing feeling of being surrounded by nature, about, you know, always, I always feel like nature, I'm gonna get a little ethereal, and I don't do drugs, but I'm gonna get ethereal, man. It's like nature is a blanket to me, you know, it's a comfort. And so being here, I just feel so at peace, and so the sounds, and we're on a main road, man. Every once in a while you hear a dump truck go by. But otherwise, this is truly a sanctuary in the middle of, you know, I mean, Long Island is a suburbia.
So you come, being connected to the house, we come out here in snowstorms, we come out here when it's cold, just to see what the waterfall's doing.
That's really cool, man. Yeah, that's amazing.
And the fish, you know, their metabolism drops and they kind of tuck in. Right. But the water always keeps running and it always keeps changing.
That's really cool, man. I am super in love with this bamboo staircase across. Are we gonna make our way over to that?
Definitely.
All right, well then I'll wait, but look at how sick that looks, man. I mean, that is incredible. And that's an illusion, though.
Well, this is the thing. When you're building gardens, contrast is a very important aspect. So the contrast of the wood going into the landscape for the bridge, the contrast of the bamboo in the rock, and in this area we changed from the natural rock ledge to stack stone. And when we built this stack stone wall, it's 3 feet thick, and we incorporated planting pockets. So right away, we could get plants in it, and even though it's only 5 years old, it looks like it's been there forever. And then we left out pockets to put the treads for the bamboo staircase.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And maybe at some point we might switch the wood out and do bluestone.
Cool.
You know, but right now it's wood treads.
You know, let me ask you, because I'm sure some of the folks watching, I get a lot of people that just love animals, love to build habitats for the animals. You know, how did you get into this? I mean, obviously your dad did it.
Grandpa and Dad did it. I grew up doing it, and the gardens that we did when I was a kid were smaller. But then as Grandpa, Dad, and I were working together, you have more manpower, more thought power. So we were able to get machinery and start to enlarge the scale. Then we had somebody ask us to do a garden in Rockefeller Center.
No way.
On the street. And we did it for 7 years. And if you can put a big show garden in Rockefeller Center, then at that point that just moved things to a different level, and people saw that we were able to do this real large scale type work.
It always takes one big break, you know. That's how it is with whether it's show business or gardening business. You just get that big job, and then you're known for being able to handle something like that.
And that had the notoriety. That also had the clientele.
This is amazing.
And then the Florida work started through a friend.
Oh, right on. Well, hopefully I can get you guys back down to Florida. And then I'll jump in and learn some things. I'll work with you, man, because I love getting dirty, and I just love the creative aspect of all this. So what do we have here, man? I mean, obviously it's a pond.
This is a big part of our ecosystem.
Cool.
Because what we did here was we put 300 feet of intake tubing and then put gravel on top. So we move water through it, and it gives a place for the microbes to colonize, and really this is what purifies the water. and keeps it healthy.
And when we talk about, this is biofiltration though.
This is a biofiltration at the simplest form, because we're not doing any kind of removal or any kind of maintenance to it.
Okay.
We are just moving water through gravel that can colonize the microbes.
Very cool.
And the fish help churn the water.
Yep.
Churn the water.
Cool, man.
I can call them back here.
Oh, get out of here. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Over here. Tom. Look out there. Here they all come. This guy's got, man, that guy's like out of the water and he's ready to rock.
Here comes another round of them.
That's amazing. And are these Japanese koi or what are
They're all different kinds of koi and goldfish, the size that they develop.
Look at this. They really do churn up the water,
Put your hand in. He'll come up and he'll let you pet him.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here, really?
Yep.
Yeah, snap your fingers.
Look at this. Look at this. I'm petting a fish. Whoever thought that they would allow that? I mean, this is awesome, man. You know, I don't think we give fish enough credit. On your field, they're healthy. They have a nice slime coat, you know. That is really cool.
Yeah, when we're out here, they know they're safe.
Right.
So they're very comfortable.
But when
we're not out here, they disappear.
Get out of here.
The stones, they can swim under the stones we're standing on.
Wow.
They can swim under the bridges. They can go under other overhanging structures. So they can all, you can come out here and think that there's not a single fish here.
I'm telling you, I'm going to get you some turtles. We just got to get some turtles.
We got to figure out how to secure them in place. Because if you close off any section of this and the fish can't come in, then the ecosystem, because they're part of the ecosystem.
Well, what I would do,
what keeps the water
if it was me, I just build a turtle-proof fence around the whole perimeter, and then I'd be good, man. Like whatever. This is incredible. I got to introduce you to my buddy Crocodile, Kyle. I think he's going to really like you, and we could get you building a naturalistic crocodile ponds, which would be that would be different, right?
That would be different.
Why not? Any way to get this guy back down to Florida. Look at this, man. Little gazebo. Cool. And then we kind of meander our way up.
Then we work our way back to the
back to the stream.
area.
Holy smokes. But all this, you know, the thing, guys, is the detail. It's so impressive, and I think it can be overwhelming sometimes when someone sees this and they think, you know, this is out of range for us. What would you say to somebody who has a passion for this and wants to get involved and wants to start it? You know, small projects can be just as beautiful.
Right. The only thing is that most of the small projects need to have foundations
that are
as important as the big project. So just because your project's small doesn't mean you can build it on dirt. Everything here has massive foundations, and everything is structurally supported right down below the frost line. So you can see how stable everything is. Actually, some of the foundation we left exposed for reference.
You can kind of see right behind you there.
And we just hit it with the plants.
Gotcha.
But it enables you to see the structural support and then the ornamental finish that goes on.
Very cool.
Eventually we're going to actually have a naturally filtered swimming hole.
That I'm coming back to take a dip in, man.
There you go.
Because that's been a dream of mine. You know, we're doing a really cool series on the channel. Swimming with, I swam with my big lizard. I swam with a big python. But I wanna create. I would love it if I could take my existing pond that you've seen and filter it to where I can get underwater photography, that I can swim with these turtles. And you told me that's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's very doable. You know, and that's not even a major type undertaking.
Wow.
You really have to figure out how you're going to intake the water. And then create an area that's big enough to remove the sediment. We have to think of what your waste load is, and then build something proportionate
to that. All right, well, there you go. I'm gonna keep on making videos and keep on asking for support from my Patreon supporters, man.
There you go.
We'll get some amazing underwater photography, but Luke, Gabrielle, it's a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, and you know, if we continue on, we're right back up at the top of the stream. So I'm gonna walk around and enjoy this place, and I hope you guys like this, and maybe it's giving you some ideas of what you can do at your home And if you're interested in seeing more of Luke's work, what's the website, man?
You can go to our company name, EMIL, my last name, Kreye, Kreye, and son.com.
There you go. We'll throw a little graphic up. See you guys later. I'm going to enjoy this place.